Have you ever noticed how overthinking tricks you into feeling productive while slowly draining your energy at the same time? You sit there replaying conversations, analyzing every detail, imagining different outcomes, telling yourself that if you just think a little longer, you'll finally figure everything out. But instead of clarity, you end up with more doubt, more anxiety, and more mental noise. It feels like you're moving forward, but you're actually stuck in the exact same place. And the most dangerous part is that it doesn't feel like self-sabotage. It feels like control. But what if overthinking isn't helping you at all? What if it's actually the thing keeping you trapped? Overthinking creates a powerful illusion of control. It convinces you that by thinking through every possible scenario, you're protecting yourself from mistakes, from embarrassment, from failure. But in reality, you're not solving problems. You're rehearsing fear. Your brain keeps you in a loop where no conclusion is ever final. Because for every answer you find, it immediately creates a new doubt. And that's how the cycle sustains itself. It's not designed to end. It's designed to continue. The more you engage with it, the stronger it becomes, until thinking stops being a tool and starts becoming a habit you can't turn off. One of the darkest aspects of overthinking is how it feeds on uncertainty. The human brain is wired to seek certainty, to close gaps, to resolve the unknown. But when it can't find real answers, it starts generating imagined ones. And because of something called negativity bias, your brain naturally prioritizes potential threats over neutral or positive outcomes. That means when you don't know what's going to happen, your mind doesn't stay balanced. It leans toward what could go wrong. You start imagining rejection, failure, loss, embarrassment, and slowly those imagined scenarios begin to feel real, even though they haven't happened and may never happen. As this pattern continues, your brain starts blurring the line between reality and imagination. A conversation that hasn't happened yet can make your heart race. A situation that exists only in your head can create real anxiety in your body. Stress hormones are released, your muscles tense up, your breathing changes, all triggered by thoughts alone. Your brain doesn't fully separate vivid imagination from real experience, which means overthinking doesn't just affect your mind. It affects your entire nervous system. You're not just thinking about problems, you're physically experiencing them in advance. Another layer that makes overthinking so dangerous is how it disguises itself as intelligence and self-awareness. You tell yourself you're being thoughtful, reflective, careful, but there's a critical difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection leads somewhere. It creates insight, direction, and eventually action. Overthinking, on the other hand, keeps you circling the same thoughts without resolution. It creates analysis without progress. And over time, this constant second-guessing begins to erode your confidence. You stop trusting your instincts. Simple decisions feel heavy, and you begin to rely more on thinking, even though thinking is the very thing keeping you stuck. There's also a deeper psychological mechanism at play. Overthinking is often a form of avoidance. It feels like engagement, but it's actually a way of delaying action. Because taking action means facing uncertainty in real life, not just in your mind. It means risking failure, rejection, or being wrong. Thinking feels safer because it keeps everything hypothetical. As long as you're in your head, nothing real can hurt you. But nothing real can move forward either. So your brain keeps you there, not because it's helping you grow, but because it's trying to protect you from discomfort. Over time, this creates a paradox. The more you try to think your way out of discomfort, the deeper you fall into it. Overthinking amplifies everything. Small doubts become big fears. Minor decisions feel overwhelming. And the constant mental activity drains your energy to the point where even simple actions start to feel exhausting. You begin to feel stuck, not because you lack answers, but because you have too many of them and none of them feel certain enough to act on. Another reason overthinking is so hard to break is because it becomes part of your identity. You start seeing yourself as the thinker, the careful one, the person who analyzes everything deeply. And while that can sound like a strength, it can quietly trap you in patterns that limit your ability to act freely. You begin to associate overthinking with being responsible or intelligent, which makes it even harder to let go of. But thinking more doesn't always mean understanding more. Sometimes it just means you're stuck in a loop that feels meaningful but leads nowhere. So how do you actually break free from overthinking? Not by trying to force your mind to stop, because that usually makes it louder, but by changing how you relate to your thoughts. Instead of treating every thought as something important that needs to be solved, start seeing thoughts as mental events that come and go. You don't have to engage with all of them. You don't have to answer every question your mind creates. Learning to observe without reacting is one of the most powerful ways to weaken the cycle. Another key shift is moving from thinking to doing. Action interrupts overthinking in a way that nothing else can. Even small actions create real feedback, and that feedback is far more valuable than endless mental simulation. When you act, you replace imagined outcomes with real experience, and that grounds you. It brings you back to reality, where progress actually happens. You don't need perfect clarity to act. You need just enough clarity to take the next step. The truth is, your mind is incredibly powerful, but it's not always working in your best interest. Overthinking feels like control, but most of the time, it's fear operating in disguise. And once you start recognizing that pattern, you create distance from it. You begin to realize that not every thought deserves your attention, and not every possibility deserves your energy. And in that space, something important happens. You regain control, not by thinking more, but by needing to think less. If this video changed the way you see overthinking, take a moment to like it so more people can break free from this cycle too. Subscribe to the channel for more content about psychology, behavior, and how your mind really works. And in the comments, tell me this: what's something you've been overthinking lately? Putting it into words might be the first step to getting out of your own head. I'll see you in the next video.